one of your current top priorities, and that's litigation, basically to challenge the ballot title and summary of Amendment 7 that will appear on the ballot in 2012. What's really at stake in this litigation?
Amendment 7 is probably one of the most dangerous amendments that public education in Florida has ever faced, because it is not about religious freedom. That's what one of the titles are. It is about a voucher program. And what this would do would allow vouchers in all schools throughout the state of Florida. And people say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, number one, there's a constitutional problem there, that you have to have separation of church and state, and we understand that. And number two is there's approximately 500,000 students in private schools. And if all of a sudden you were going to say, well, we're going to send those private schools the same amount of money we're sending public schools, that's going to cost somewhere between $3.5–4 billion just to implement that program. And right now, with the mood of the legislature, those dollars aren't there. And it's an impossible thing to fund unless you come up with some additional taxation or something like that. And my hanging around the Capitol recently, I haven't heard anybody mention the word taxation, and I don't going to see it in 2012. So we have challenged that in the courts, and I hope we will be successful, because it does not have to do with religious freedom. It has to do with the voucher program. In fact, some of the plaintiffs in the case are ministers and rabbis and other individuals who have joined us in that case.
Well, you know, you could argue, and some of the proponents of the amendment do, that there are taxpayer dollars already going to religious institutions. For example, hospitals that are funded primarily by religious organizations that participate in the Medicaid program, and other faith-based organizations that are involved in social programs and so forth. So what's the difference here with regard to taxpayer monies going to educational institutions?
Well, first, we're inadequately funded. And, you know, I don't think I'd have the same viewpoint here if education were adequately funded and you had the dollars to send over to the private institutions, but we don't. So far, most of the hospitals and those Medicaid programs and all are doing fairly well. I understand they got cut some also, but you cannot afford to do this program and have a quality public education system in the state of Florida, as simple as that.